This is a clip from Forbidden Knowledge NewsCon 2022. To access this entire presentation and every presentation from the conference, just click the link in the description or go to rokfin.com/FKN+.
I, of course, have been talking about psychopathy for my whole life without necessarily having the right words for it always. But I think it's so important for us to learn about psychopathy and the related aberrant psychologies, because this is what our whole entire society is structured around. Unintentionally or intentionally, it doesn't even matter. So if you're in the conspiracy sector, like myself and Chris and many of us here, then, you'll see it that way intentionally. And if you're not, you can still see how saturated our society is with this aberrant psychology and the dominant factors of it. So it's good to know, it's good to see, because once you see it, you can then also see ways out of it. And that's our goal today, is to learn about it, be able to identify it, and then free ourselves from it. And that is something everyone can feel good about. So I'm excited. So we're just going to jump into it. And thank you, Chris, so much in the chat as well. Tips are greatly appreciated. I love all of you, and I love doing this. So it's my favorite. I don't necessarily love talking about psychopaths specifically. What I love is helping people understand it so that they can, again, avoid it. That's what makes me really happy. So, wow, I think you can't even see my face now, which is interesting, but that's cool. We're going to roll with that. No need, right? All right, so here we go. So part one is going to just be about why humans, why all of us are such easy prey for these psychopathic predators. There are reasons, and there are many, and so we need to understand them about ourselves so we can see what it is that makes them want to come after us so much, and why do we keep falling prey to this? And there's so many ways we fall prey to it as a culture, as a society, as individuals, in our relationships, in all sorts of ways. So you don't have to feel bad about it. There's some really normal reasons why this is so easy for psychopaths, but once you see it, again, you can protect yourself from it. So humans, we've got some qualities about us in general, normal human psychology, and the normal human psychology is what makes us prey to these psychopaths. So one is that we're just naive. We're naive creatures by nature. We come out naive. Most of us are, at least, and we keep our naivety for a while, and many of us for our entire lives in many ways. And there's reasons for that as well. But this is a general aspect of psychology, is that we do not assume things we don't know. And so we're naive. We are also pack animals. We are pack animals. That means we travel in packs. If you get down to our basic biology and our classifications, our characteristics, we are pack animals. We don't go alone. We don't go it alone. We make packs and we stay in our packs. We have structures in our packs. And pack animals specifically have very specific psychology as well. If you look at pack animals of any species, you'll see some of these characteristics, and we are no different from them. We are different in the way that we can see it, identify it, and choose to behave differently. That's what makes us different. But our nature, our default, is to be pack animals. So we like to travel in groups. We like to have leaders. We like to know who's got what status. We like to know the pecking order, and we trust that. It's a safe system, actually. There's a reason why all of nature follows this same structure, because it's safer. We can produce for each other more easily. We can protect each other more easily. Everything flows more easily when you know whose job is what. There's lots of reasons why this is the way it is. Thank you so much, Keto Scotro, in the chat for the tip. Much appreciated. Also, in behavioral psychology and our reinforcement systems, we have created ways of reinforcing and educating one another. This is specific to humans. It's not really, right? It's inbuilt to many species, but we go above and beyond with things like the educational system. So we have whole entire systems built up in which we reinforce behavior, we teach behavior, we reinforce and teach psychology, as well as all the other things. So this is the implicit curriculum, right? You might be learning math, you might be learning English, you might be learning whatever subject, but implicitly behind that, you're also learning all these other things. And we also do this automatically, even if you're not in a school system per se, you still have this behavioral reinforcement. going on at some point in your life, in your child's life, in everybody's life. We also have family dynamics and cultural norms. So in our families specifically, we learn and teach each other behaviors and systems. We learn and teach each other aspects of psychology, how we're supposed to behave and act, why we're supposed to behave and act that way. Part of the pack is reinforced in this way, right? Who's at the top, who's at the bottom, all such things like that. We also have cultural norms, right? And these all are interrelated to some extent, but our cultural norms are, again, we go out in public, we see what people can do and not do. We see how people are treated well or poorly because of the way that they're acting or behaving. And so we learn what the cultural norms are, and they're different in each culture, right? In each culture, I've been to other countries, like especially in Turkey, it was really weird because our physical distance, our comfort with our physical bubble was exceptionally different. Here in the United States, we have a very big bubble. When people come within like a foot or two of you, you're like, whoa, why are you so close? And in Turkey, people will come right up to you, stand right next to you. Their whole body is touching you. And that is completely normal. It's not gropey or weird even. It's just how it is. So cultural norms differ, and they do teach you what's okay and what's not okay. And they inform, therefore, what you're comfortable with as well, usually. But there's also aspects of our cultural norms that are pretty universal, and psychopaths prey on this as well. And we also have cultural priming, which is when we prepare people to get ready for cultural shifts or changes. And of course, this happens mostly in our culture currently through what we call media programming and whatnot. But it's happened all throughout time as well. It just may have used to happen from like the town crier or the chief telling people things or whatnot. So that also is happening. And finally, we have Dunning-Kruger. And Dunning-Kruger, we could do a whole presentation at a conference just on Dunning-Kruger, but Dunning-Kruger is one of the most fascinating things about us that makes us so susceptible to attack from psychopaths. It's actually, I laugh because it's crazy. Once you know Dunning-Kruger really well and you start looking at the world, you see just how saturated it is, ubiquitous, that Dunning-Kruger takes over. So Dunning and Kruger are two guys, their names, who studied this phenomenon and came up with a description of it. And so what it really is this idea that stupid people don't know that they're stupid. They're so stupid that they don't know that they're stupid. So stupid people are very confident about what they think, say, and do. And so stupid people act confidently despite that they shouldn't, because they don't know what's going on. Usually they don't have as full of an understanding, as deep of an understanding. They don't know what they don't know. They are not nuanced at all. And yet they're so sure that they act very confidently. Humans, being naive, pack animals, look at confident behavior and assume, pretty well, it's a pretty good assumption generally. It should be true that someone acting so confidently must know. They must know. They must be doing this for a reason. And so we should trust them, right? But it's not true. They're actually the stupidest. Okay, so then the opposite is also true. Really intelligent people know for sure that they don't know everything. They know that for sure because they've studied so deeply. They understand so deeply that they know there's all of this that they don't even know yet, right? And so you and I, we're pretty intelligent people, and so we're aware. So when we're talking about something, we're saying, well, this is how it seems so far. I'm pretty sure it's like this. And those types of ways of talking sound less confident to people. And it sounds to them like you don't know what you're talking about. So if you were just to play a clip of me saying, so far when you look around in society, it seems like Dunning-Kruger is the norm. And then you take someone else saying, Dunning-Kruger is absolutely the only thing that exists. It's what's true. People are going to trust that second one a lot more, even though the intelligent thing to do is to trust the first statement a lot more. But when you listen to someone who sounds like they're not as sure, who knows that they don't know everything and is willing to admit it, they sound less confident. And so you trust them less. When the truth is they're smarter, they're more intelligent, and they're more capable, therefore, of being a leader in a given situation. So this is Dunning-Kruger, and Dunning-Kruger makes us susceptible to so much folly. It's insane. Instead of using rational metrics, measuring, testing the waters, and trying to figure out what's going on, we just go with, well, that seems like that person's sure and this person's not. Let's follow that leader. So like I said, we could do a whole presentation just on Dunning-Kruger, but Dunning-Kruger is one other reason why humans fall prey to predators like psychopaths so easily, because psychopaths can exploit the fact that even the intelligent, especially the intelligent, are almost shunned, listened to less, trusted less in society. The stupid ones, the confident ones, they're going to be listened to. It's much easier to manipulate a stupid person than it is a smart person. And even when the smart people are saying, look, there's a psychopath, look at what they're doing to you, look at what they're trying to do to you, people will say, oh no, that's that person who's stupid. And it's all subconscious. No one's really usually walking around going, okay, this person's smart, that person's stupid, etc. But in general, this is true, right? So this is another reason why psychopaths can take advantage of humans. We're naive, we're pack animals. We have reinforcement of our behavior and our psychology that is systemic and therefore can be infiltrated and controlled. And Dunning-Kruger is one of the main factors of our organizing and trust system. So, given our naivety, we may look at some things and believe that they're good because we believe that we are good. In general, most people believe that they are good. When you're looking in the mirror in the morning, most of the time, most people are not like, oh man, I'm a piece of shit, right? They're like, yeah, I'm a pretty good person. I do my best. I mess up sometimes. Some of us are a little hard on ourselves. But in general, I'm good. So because I'm good, others must be good too. In general, they must be good. And therefore, what they're doing must be good. Their behavior must be good. And here's a really good example. If you talk to most parents and you ask them, are you worried about pedophiles? Are you worried about kidnappings? Most of them will be like, oh God, I mean, like technically, I guess, but no, I'm not trying to think about that, right? Because they would never kidnap a child and they would never rape a child. So why would anybody else and why would you think about it? And this is an example of why our naivety is an excellent factor for predators. It makes us good prey because we are so silly. We think, well, I'm not doing that. Why would other people be doing it? I'm not cutting in line. Why would other people be cutting in line? We get a little bit out of this naivety. Sometimes we become much more cynical as a society sometimes. And so that also exists. And there's definitely people who are less naive, more cynical, or at least more aware. But in general, this is the trend. This is a pattern of human behavior. We assume about others what seems to be true to us about ourselves. And so therefore, how we're being treated by others, including our authority figures, including the people who we randomly meet, including every person, it must be good. It must be pretty good. If we're treating people pretty good, we're doing our best job, then so other people are also treating us good, doing their best job. Everyone's doing the best thing they can, the best job they can, for the most part. These are the things that people tend to assume, especially the people you and I might call normies who don't think about more deeply beyond the sort of surface value of what they've been told to think and do. This is even more true of them. And let's face it, that's the majority of the public. Wow, thank you so much, HunaBQ13, for the tip. So appreciated. Very nice. I appreciate you. And thank you for supporting this. And so here's another example we get when we look at our politicians, and you and I can look and see this guy is harming people. This guy is harming adult women. He's definitely harming children. He looks to be forcefully touching them. He's touching them in ways that most adults don't touch, especially children that are not their own and not their grandkids, not related to them, not close family friends. Just random kids that happen to be around on the campaign trail. His hands are on their breasts. His hands are around their face. Some of them look very uncomfortable and are trying to get away, and he doesn't let them. And any rational person should look at that collection of evidence and they should say, that's not okay. This isn't how adult humans treat young humans. But instead, our naivety says, well, He wouldn't get in that position if he wasn't good. He wouldn't be trusted by people if he wasn't good. He wouldn't be doing this in public if it wasn't okay. All of these things that are part of our assumptions and our psychology feed into allowing people like this sick pedophile to become president and to not be called out for it. And so you can show people all the evidence you want, and their cognitive dissonance will override the evidence because of those aspects of our very normal human nature. And that's why this also comes with, the more you learn about psychopathy and how prevalent it is and how to spot it, the more you have to also try to become more compassionate towards the other people who have not yet understood, because it's not their fault. It's probably because they're pretty good people, and it's because they have really, really normal human psychology. And so they just don't expect it and they can't see it coming. It's so awful. It's so beyond what they expect. Psychopaths go so far beyond normal human behavior that we just don't see it coming.